says he feels vindicated.
Last year, Jerome Corsi was accused of lying under oath to Mueller's investigators. He refused a plea deal, though. It would have required him to plead guilty to perjury. In the end, he was not indicted.
Joining us now, Jerome Corsi, author of Silent No More, How I Became a Political Prisoner of Mueller's Witch Hunt. Jerome, welcome.
Thank you. Great to be with you.
So first, let's just get your reaction to the Mueller probe finally wrapping up with no indictments coming down.
Well, first of all, I'm very pleased, of course, that I'm not indicted. And I feel vindicated because I did refuse to accept what I consider to be a fraudulent plea deal that I was offered. I went in to cooperate. We spent 40 hours with Mueller. I gave them my laptops, my computers. I helped Quantico download my emails with double verification, worked with them on the phone. I went in to cooperate. But from moment one, they treat you like a criminal. And this plea deal, I mean, this is a bully. They were bullying me. They gave me a plea deal and said, you know, one count, the first day memory mistake that they allowed me to amend the testimony. But the plea did not reflect the amended testimony, and I would not stand before a judge and God and say I committed a crime I didn't. I did not give them false information that I knew to be false on material subjects in order to deceive them. I tried to tell them the truth. These thugs offered me a fraudulent plea deal, and I refused it.
You call them thugs. Strong word, obviously. Back that up by explaining, did you believe that Mueller's team was trying to get you to lie about the president?
Yes, they were trying to coerce me into testimony. They were convinced, and that's the whole point. See, how can you get a plea deal and then they don't charge you? They couldn't approve that plea deal. They wanted to bully me into being a criminal when I'm not and going to jail. This is not America. It's not justice. And they were constantly going after my contact with Julian Assange. I didn't have any contact. 20 hours.
So what were they saying? Were they saying Assange wanted you to do this? The president, what were the kind of tactics?
Sure. They had, what they had, by the way, this book, Silent No More, goes into it. You're, first of all, in a closed-in conference room, an unmarked FBI building, facing 3 prosecutors, 6 to 9 FBI. You can't even leave the room to go to the restroom without being accompanied by the FBI.
Were you there with a lawyer?
With my attorney, facing all this army for 6 to 8 hours a day, for 6 days. And what they do is constantly, they say, well, you know, Roger Stone, Julian Assange. They wanted me to connect Roger Stone to Assange. Because in July 2016, my wife and I took a trip. We had our 25th wedding anniversary. We were in Italy. And I figured out on my own that Julian Assange had Podesta's emails. And he was going to drop them in October. And I knew even precisely how he was going to do it. I was describing these to people. So the special prosecutor said, you had to have contact with Assange. You're lying to us. And then they badger you. They use all these kinds of psychological techniques to wear you down. Silent No More, I wrote while I was going through this psychological torment. And the whole purpose of the book is it's the basis to validate that I've got a legitimate claim in federal court for, you know, several $100 million, a civil suit against Mueller for, I think, prosecutorial abuse.
So what's next for you now that you feel vindicated? You've rejected this plea deal. You have a book to explain what your side of the story in this case. How do you move forward now with the accountability and how you feel about the investigation wrapping up?
Well, first of all, it destroys your life. I mean, I now have no job, no income, no monthly income. You get abandoned by everyone. Tens of thousands of dollars in legal expenses. The family going through, 7 months. Is dad going to prison? Is the FBI going to show up at the front door and break down the door and take you away? Well, I don't know. Waking up at 3 in the morning. You go through absolutely a nightmare. And they intend to put you through this nightmare because they kept saying, you're lying to us. I'm not lying. I never had any contact with Assange. And by the way, if I had been lying, they would have indicted me.
So what do you think happens to Roger Stone, because he was indicted?
Well, that's going to be Roger's case, and with a gag order, I'm pretty reluctant to talk about it. I think they used some of my emails as person number 1 in his case, and if they subpoena me, I'll testify, but I'm reluctant to say anything about Roger's case given the gag order on that case.
Okay. So where do you see this going forward in terms of the other side of Congress now saying from the Republican side that they want to investigate the abuses that allegedly went on with not only the Mueller investigation, but at the FBI during the 2016 presidential election.
It's going to be continuing. I mean, now I have all the House and Senate, and everybody is not going to stop. The turning point for me, when I was trying to decide to accept the plea deal or not, my wife woke up one morning and she said, I'd rather visit you in prison for the rest of your life than have you not be the man I married. And when she said that, I realized that was a turning point, that if my wife could accept that, I could not swear before a federal judge that I committed a crime I didn't. And we told Mueller to take a hike. That day, I expected I'd be indicted. It was bullying me from the beginning, coercive techniques of interrogation.
So you stood up, though, and in the end, you were not indicted. Jerome Corsi, good luck with the book, and we appreciate you coming.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming on.